All right. Welcome back to another Survivor Grand Rapids Blood podcast. I am Dom, your host, and we are here after our podcast on Monday for a series going over our finalists from the finale that aired, I think it was 2 weeks ago now. So time is flying, but we are waiting to get our finalist stories of their season and doing their deep dive. So we had Carrie on Monday, and today we are bringing in a very important finalist for us. Again, if you have not seen the finale yet or have not seen the season yet, big spoilers ahead, because without further ado, we are bringing in our newest Survivor Grand Rapids champion, Luke. How's it going, Luke?
I'm good, Dom. How are you? It's good to see you.
It's good to see you again. It's been a long time. Since 2023 when we filmed. I know we've hung out in between there, but man, time has flown by. So yeah, how is the season? Watching it back and everything.
It's good. It's crazy. My parents loved it. I mean, they're Survivor fans too. So I watched every episode with them. They're on that. They're edge of their seats for the finale. They loved it. So it was very cool watching it back with them. So thank you for that. That was awesome.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I know they were big supporters, and Mark played before, and you were cameraman before. How were you able to hold the secret of your title for those 3 years, or did you have to let it slip?
I did for about a year and a half, and then I think they wore me down. They kept asking me, and finally I was like, yeah, I won, but I spared them the details, so they didn't know how it happened. So when they watched the second half and the finale, they were pleasantly surprised. So
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I got to make those NDAs a little tighter. So I'm kidding, but yeah, I mean, definitely probably could have helped you a lot by having those episodes released a little bit closer together. So, but we made it. We finished our finale, and we're here for your deep dive. So, let's start off by the beginning. So, you were our cameraman on season 4 of Heroes versus Villains. We saw some young Luke throughout the season, and but we really didn't kind of dive into like too much of that experience for you on the season. So I guess, what was it like for you? Take us back to probably high school Luke in those days, right? I don't remember how old we were at that point, but yeah, what was it like being on camera or on the crew?
yeah, no, it was awesome. I was either a freshman or sophomore in high school. I don't remember, but I mean, that being on crew, that was what really introduced me to Survivor. I remember I was like, what is my brother and his friends? Why are they filming something in their backyard 2 blocks down? What are they doing? And that led to, me being on camera crew. That led to me binge watching probably half the season of Survivor. I've watched a lot of the new era, which isn't as good as the old era, in my opinion. Yeah, it's really kickstarted my love for Survivor. At MSU, I've had like watch parties. I played the Survivor card game. It's been awesome, man. It's all thanks to you, so I appreciate that. But no, it was film being on crew for season 4 was awesome because there was a lot of my brothers and I's friends got to play. I got to see how the intricacies of Survivor started, and that led me to where I am today. So it was phenomenal.
Nice. Do you think it like prepped you well for Bad Blood, or was it? Yeah. How was that?
I think so. Yeah, I think the backyard Survivor is a bit different from the CBS Survivor.
Mhm.
So I think, yeah, I kind of had some not like an insight, but I kind of saw how you plan the season. So I was like, yeah, Dom likes to, have advantages here. He likes to do this. I kind of had the behind the scenes POV.
Okay.
So, going to the season, I felt like I kind of knew what I was doing a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So you went in with that Survivor Dearborn camera crew experience, and you said that you watched like Survivor the real show. Was that before or after you played? So
Oh, that was in between when I was crew and when I played. Yeah.
oh, okay. So you went in with like big scope of
Yeah.
knowledge
Oh yeah.
how things were run. So I guess, yeah. Did you? again mentioned a bit in the finale that you were called last minute. We called you maybe a week or two before we started filming, and you jumped right into it. I guess, what was it like getting that call? Were you expecting a call once we came back with fresh meat? Were you hoping that we'd reach back out? Like, I guess, what was that like for you?
Yeah, no, I was definitely hoping, but I didn't think I would get that call. Like I said, I had binge watched maybe half the season of Survivor, so I was a big fan. I remember I tried to get on the last season you did of Survivor Dearborn, but it was returning cast, so I couldn't.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh man, like, I really want to play. This would be awesome. When I got the call, I was just studying for the LSAT, so I wasn't working yet. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. I can take it 3 days off, go play the Survivor, and it'll be a great break. And yeah, I was excited to play.
I mean, I feel like that Survivor experience probably could have prepped you more than an LSAT can. You had a pretty good, pretty successful run pitching to a jury right there. So, I guess, yeah, update us on that. So, while you were filming, you were going into law school. Like, where are you at right now?
Yeah, so that summer I was studying for the LSAT, the entrance exam into law school. After that, I took the LSAT, worked for a firm for a year, and then I received a full ride to Michigan State Law School. So I just finished my second year at MSU, go green,
Okay.
and I'm loving it there. It's fantastic. It's crazy to look back at where I was 3 years ago, where I am now. It's pretty cool.
Nice. Well, congratulations on that. I hope, yeah, it sounds like you got a nice community there where you're able to enjoy some Survivor stuff, and yeah, but yeah, I hope they enjoyed the season too. We'll start all the way onto day one of arriving, at the farm and kicking things off. I have you dress in yellow. I have John dress in green. What are you thinking, like walking down to the cornfield at that point?
Yeah, I'm thinking this guy seems awesome, but I have no idea who he is. I remember, I remember we showed up on Thursday, and some of the cast talked with each other, but I actually knew more of the crew members because they were from Divine Child.
Yeah.
So I didn't get a chance to talk to some of the cast members, and one of them was John. So I was like, okay, this guy seems nice, but I have no idea who he is. And well, we'll see, what happens. And it turned out to be good. But yeah, then my first reaction was, I don't know who this guy is, but seems like a nice, friendly guy, and hopefully it goes somewhere.
Did you like guesstimate that, you might be in pairs playing, or I guess, like, what was your mindset before we put you guys into those blood bonds?
Oh, I had no idea. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've seen pretty much every season that you've done, and that was not something I thought of heading in. So it was a good twist. I liked it.
Heck yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you never met John going in. You knew more crew members. Comparing that to Survivor Dearborn, where I feel like a lot of people kind of knew each other going into it. You were kind of like on that opposite end of things, where you are from Dearborn. You're used to watching like your brother play with my brother and their friend group and mix that in with my friend group and stuff. You're coming in and seeing like this Grand Rapids group of people that are there. And you're on the outs, like you're in the minority kind of right off the bat. For those that are tuning in to get a little bit of a timeline of how we started our game, I invited everybody to show up on Thursday. Everybody was able to socialize. They were able to, meet everybody. Couldn't talk game to as much of an extent as we can monitor that. But my goal with that, as the host, as the producer, was to get everybody, at least familiar with each other, so we didn't have too awkward of meetings on day one. And I think we kind of did that on Friday when we started filming. Everybody seemed pretty, used to each other. So on Thursday, was that when the gear started turning for you, Luke, of like the Grand Rapids group? And when did you start like realizing that was going to be a big opposition in your game specifically?
Yeah, I think I didn't know. I knew people had relationships. That was pretty evident, but I didn't know to what extent and how that would affect the game.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know, like, again, I had no idea the blood bonds would be in play. So I didn't know Now, okay, well, this person might be with this person, but like you don't know how it's going to play out. So yeah, before I kind of knew there were some tight bonds, but I really had no idea how it would play out in the game. So I kept open mind at first until we were actually out there. I'm thinking, oh, this is not great for me.
Yeah, so we don't get a lot of Luke content, at least in the first couple of episodes. We get some nice confessionals from you saying that, you're happy that you win, like that kind of stuff. But a lot of that footage is kind of dominated by that Grand Rapids group, primarily Tyler, Josh, moving people, corralling them into whatever numbers that they have. Where were you situated? Who were you close with? Who did you like want to work with? Yeah, fill us in on that, and then I got a follow-up question after that.
Yeah, I think so. I came in day one with a strategy. I was okay. What do I need to do today to make it farther in the game? What do I need to do today to be successful? And I thought once I saw the tribe, I'm like, these people don't know me from Adam. I cannot give them a reason to vote me out. I can't go off and canoodle this person or this person or this person. I can't do that because as soon as I do, they're gonna vote me out. And we see that when Tyler thought McGingo was against him because she had a conversation with like Brooklyn or Josie
Yeah,
or
random one-off whisper that McGingo did that
yeah.
still that I think Tyler's still confused on where his head was at. So
Yeah, so I'm thinking, man, I cannot give these people a single reason to vote me off. I'm gonna be great at challenges. I'm gonna sit on the back deck. I'm gonna talk to people. I'm gonna be lively. I'm having a good time. I just cannot give these people a reason to vote me off. And I'm gonna like suss out the relationships. I'm gonna see, okay, who's talking to who seems close to who is not talking to me, and then I can move in from there. But first, I need to decide where the relationships are and where I can fit in there.
mm-hmm. Did you notice, this isn't the question that I had the follow-up, but did you notice like the movement that was going on?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I knew Eli was talking to a lot of people. I sensed Tyler and Josh were talking a lot. I sensed Zoe and Tyler were talking. A lot of the pieces were still kind of forming until I saw who was going to exile, and then that kind of faltered for me. I kind of fit pieces in through that too. And I kind of realized that, okay, McGingo and Samantha don't seem like they're really talking with Eli and Josh and Tyler, who aren't talking to me. So maybe I can get in there and see what's up with them. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like I had to stay still, figure out where the pieces lied, and then see where I could fit in.
Mm-hmm. So the question that I did have for the follow-up, and it's something that didn't make the cut. It was something that I don't believe we talked about on Josh's podcast, but we had a clip where you came up to him and were like, I really want to work together. And Josh goes, nah, like I'm working with too many people or something. Like it was kind of it didn't make the cut because at that time, it didn't contribute anything like narratively. You didn't do a confessional about that interaction. Josh didn't. So it was just kind of like, it would have just been there. But we eventually see how that dynamic kind of like comes to fruition, on day 2. Where did that tip you off at all? Did that, contribute to any of that, vendetta against those big partners in the game?
Oh yeah, that was the biggest alarm bells ring off in my head, because I've seen Survivor. And if someone says, oh, I want to work with you, you don't just say no. I mean, you lied. You say, oh, yeah, but you have ulterior plans. So when I hear no, I'm thinking he must be in such a great position that he doesn't care if he tells me no. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going, oh, and I'm not part of that. Like something's happening that I'm not a part of. And I'm like, well, maybe I came out too strong. So then I go to Sam and Tyler, and I kind of float the idea. I don't say I want to work with you, but I kind of like, I say it in so many words, and they don't say yes either. So I'm like, man, like what am I missing here? I really miss something big. Like they all have this massive thing going, and I'm not a part of it. So I gotta get in gear with doing something else here.
Mm-hmm. And we kind of see that, when we get to that joint tribal council, but there's some things that happen in between that. first thing I want to call out is Zoe, because Zoe is somebody that you played most of the game with. I think you played the entire game with Zoe,
Yeah.
correct?
Mhm.
Yeah. So Zoe comes back from exile. She's lying about her advantage. She's, keeping some information from the tribe. How did you read Zoe at that point in the game?
Yeah, I didn't really believe what she was telling us, and I remember when John got voted out, he's the one who kinda let slip what actually happened,
Yeah.
and it was in front of Josh and Sam, and they all kinda looked at him weird, and then I used that this was off camera, it was my fault. I went to Zoe, and I'm like, "Hey, this is happening, but, like, try like, I was on your I didn't, like, say anything about it, like, so what actually happened?" And I kinda used that
Hmm.
test if, like, she'd be truthful with me, and I don't remember what she said, but it wasn't the I could sense it wasn't the truth. So now I'm going, "Man, like, Zoe's lying to me too, like, I really wanna play with her, but now I wanna play with Tyler, Josh, and Zoe." Now I'm going, all 3 of these people don't wanna play with me, so I gotta, like, I gotta do something else here, and that's so I guess the relationship with Zoe kinda started off rough. That's why I didn't notice right away when she actually voted for Josh later on. I assumed she was against me, but then we got better in the end. But
Yeah, your relationship, especially for me, like how I watch the seasons is like I edit them, so I watch them kind of like an episode at a time, and then like I rewatch them before I like as I'm editing, so that I can like understand where the storylines are. Now that I'm done, I'm going back and rewatching all of them as a fan, as a viewer. And your relationship with Zoe is really interesting because it's never like really addressed, but it is kind of like this give and take of like Zoe like thinks that you guys are really closely working together, and you're always never like you always have this hesitation with her. Eventually with Hannah, like you have this hesitation with them, but it seems like they genuinely wanted to work with you. Who We'll talk about that a little bit more, but on OG Vengeance, who was your number one? Was it Magingo? Because you kind of pitched that at Final Tribal, but who did you really like bond to like at that point?
yeah, for me it was McGingo. Absolutely, it was McGingo, and then I see McGingo was 1A and Samantha was 1B,
Okay.
and they were not only were they. I mean, I loved hanging out with them. They're also very smart people. I mean, the way I mean, especially Samantha, she was very calculated. The way she like broke things down. I mean, just talking to her, you could tell she was very smart.
Mhm.
So I loved talking game with her and seeing where her head was at. And yeah, so I'd say her and Gingo were definitely my one and two.
So yeah, you Josie comes back from exile too. And I remember looking at some of your confessionals, and you had like this understanding that Josie was like this wild card and that people wanted to go for Josie. But I don't think you ever fully committed to that. Is that accurate? Did you, want to use Josie as a player? Or I guess like what was your relationship with her at that point too?
Yeah, we weren't close until she came back from exile, and it was clear she wasn't telling the truth. And then Tyler's whole gang hopped on her, and I'm thinking, okay, well, they're on her. I can use her, and she was chaotic for my benefit. Because I remember when she, after the whole big tribal council, there was kind of that clash. Now this is awesome because finally Tyler's alliance is getting called out for everything they've been doing. So
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't close with Josie until after all that happened. But then once it did, I was like, yeah, I'll work with Josie. Absolutely. Like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yeah, I'll work with her. Yeah.
It's such a funny moment watching back where Josie's trying to explain her exile trip, and the evident that the tribe doesn't buy what she's selling, and next thing you know, John comes down the hill, and he's now a member of your tribe. So you have your partner at the beginning of the game on your tribe. At first it seemed like you were a little hesitant of that because it might point some fingers at you. At what point did you start playing with John and seeing that as kind of like a benefit?
Yeah, it wasn't really until day two because day one, again, I was so worried about I cannot get these people a single reason to vote me off. Like they don't know me. Again, I think there's a huge alliance growing that isn't a part of me. So I cannot give them any inkling to vote me off. And it wasn't until day two I that I really worked with John. Yeah.
Okay, solid. So watching everything back, so we'll talk about the first 3 episodes. You guys didn't go to tribal at all. And you were kind of on the outs of that, of at least the conversations that were going on. What was one of the biggest, like, like aha moments watching everything back that kind of like clicked? Oh, that like makes a lot more sense. Like something that you were not keen to maybe fill in some gaps that you might not have even gotten after you won.
Yeah. Let's see. I'd say the whole big tribal. I I knew where all the votes were going, but I didn't know how it all happened. That was a shock for me.
Mhm.
Um, I would just say how much canoodling that went on that I just didn't know about. I would see people go off and talk to other people, but I really didn't. I figured there was a big alliance brewing, but I didn't know it had gotten to that point until watching it back. I
Okay.
didn't know. I knew there were bonds. I didn't know how solid the bonds were between Sam, Tyler, um, Josh, a little bit of Zoe. I know how established it was until I went and watched it back.
Mhm. I mean, I think it was established, but I at some points I think Tyler would just list off everybody on the tribe and be like, "Yeah, we're working together." And so, but that's really interesting to kind of see like how that comes to fruition with that. So at the Joint Tribal Council, you like everybody gets up to pull their partner. So in my mind, like I see that and I was like, okay, like Vendetta, like this is Vendetta's like underdog move. Like this is their like big Hail Mary trying to just like scrap their way to stay in the game. And you interpreted that as like this group is trying to like, you know, take control basically. Like I think both can be right. Like that really shows like how much sway that they had, that they were able to pull their partners to vote a certain way. But like I guess, do you think like where was your head at like in that moment? Like as they were doing that, and like do you think you reacted like in a good way with that? I don't know if that's a good question, but like do you think that um that you should have kept that guard up on those pairs going into the rest of the game?
Yeah, no, I think for the entirety of the first day, I had built up that these partners were going to control the game. But it's all theory. It's all in my head. I don't really know. And then I remember I was sitting between all three, and I see them all converge in front of me, and my worst fears have now come true. So I'm like, oh shoot, like this is actually happening in front of my face. Like I needed to do something. Like this can't happen. And yeah, I think in the moment I could have been more relaxed, but again, like it's kind of like okay, you have a conspiracy theory, and like you kind of like maybe it's not true. Then once you see it in front of your face, you're like, oh wow, no, this is happening. So I think in the moment, like it was a reasonable reaction about what I was thinking, and yeah, I mean, I think those partners could have gone far in the game, so I think it was right for me to target them.
I mean, I think, with your history of seeing the Godins run the Dearborn games, like, and the, other sibling pairs that might have performed well or worked together in previous Dearborn seasons, your theory is very, accurate and well put. I just think, that pitch for you is such a random, like side quest. Like you have like these, like the two pockets of them trying to go for Josie, one tribe trying to go for James, and then meanwhile you're trying to like rally this group to like start a coup like right off the bat. And I thought that was really like entertaining because I don't think it was on anybody's radar, and you had a pretty good pitch with that. And I think something that I really enjoyed seeing too was when you returned back to camp and Josie's in the hot seat, and like, people are grilling like, oh, we were just uncomfy about the idol. And you're like, well, I'm uncomfy about Tyler's advantage that he has said nothing about, and like you would not let up on that, even though people were pushing that kind of to the side. So I guess, yeah, what was did you really want to push that to the spotlight? That seemed like a big springboard for you to push this narrative forward.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think Josie surviving that vote was the best thing for me because then I've been wanting to have those awkward conversations the entire first day. And now we're all standing in that circle, and we can't help but address the elephant in the room. And I'm like, yeah, dude. I mean, Tyler walked back into camp after exile and said something along the lines of,
I have a
I
thing.
have something that can help us, but I'm not going to say what it is. And it's
Mhm.
the same thing with Josh. I'm going, you're that comfortable in the game. You think you can just like say that? Like, like, there's no way. Like, I have to do something about this. So when that uncomfortable circle kind of formed, I'm like, this is my chance. I'm gonna air it all out. I'm gonna push that. I'm gonna make him feel uncomfortable. Let's try to like at least have other people in the tribe see what's happening and see the
Mhm.
power dynamic. And we have to do something about this. We can't let them just walk through the game like this.
Mhm. Yeah. So, I mean, you definitely come out on top. You swap and you get Samantha, Zoe, Sam on your tribe, in addition with Josh, Hannah, Aubrey, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so you swap into that group, and it very quickly becomes a Josh v Luke kind of situation. However, pausing for that crazy challenge performance that you had, like I guess yeah, how are you feeling with that one? Was that like kind of the hard? Was that the hardest one? Because that looked like the most strenuous one, like with your fingers like fully extended. How was that challenge for you?
Yeah, I would say that one or the Final 5 one. I think that one was tough
Mm,
because the night before just sucked. I mean, the sleep was just brutal.
yeah,
I mean, I remember, like, I'm not great sleeping outside. We were in the garage, but it wasn't comfy, and I
yeah,
remember waking up and seeing you drag a tent in the garage. I'm like,
yeah.
"What is happening?" And then I see I think I had to go to the bathroom or something. I go in the house, and it's just pouring rain.
Hmm.
And I just did not get a lot of sleep that night, and I remember waking up. Was it McGingo? Someone was waking me up in the garage, and I'm a heavy sleeper, and I look around, and everybody else there's no one in the garage, it's just me and this person, and I'm like, "What?" Like, "We gotta go, we have to go right now." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I wake up, I don't think I drink anything, I don't think I eat anything. That's why my first confessional or my first video with Samantha, I'm, like, half asleep. And so I entered that challenge. I didn't eat anything, didn't drink anything. I'm still asleep. So that definitely was not a fun fun challenge.
We had
But
to get the
yeah.
medical team involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we get into the group, and I think you are very vocal against Josh. Josh is very vocal against you. You're seeing all these groups kind of like scatter around. They're not really giving you the full lowdown on things. But I think like Zoe comes big into play and starts, pushing for that Josh like split up with Magingo and Samantha, and they kind of like have that current. And you said like I didn't realize like Zoe was riding for me that much. Like watching that back, how much do you think Zoe had that effect, and how much do you think like you had pull in that vote?
Yeah, no, watching it back, I had no idea how much pull she had. Like I really credit her. I mean, she was phenomenal that vote out. Um, it's kind of funny. I watching it back, I probably you're out there and you think you know things, you don't know the majority of what's going on with people. I mean, you can see what they're telling you, but you don't really know. So yeah, I knew they were having conversations with each other, but I didn't know to what extent those conversations were or what they were saying.
Mhm.
I only really knew what Samantha and Gingo were telling me. So yeah, I really didn't know. I think I only had one conversation with Aubrey before that, so I really didn't know how much Zoe was doing, or the work she's doing. Yeah.
Okay. And I guess how confident were you going into that vote of that? Do you think that you had everything like on lock to pull it out?
Definitely not. No, I thought I had Boy Sam on my side, and I thought Zoe was against me. So I thought it was gonna be a split vote, or maybe Sam would go with Josh. I really thought I was going home. So it was a good surprise, which was another thing. Nobody outright told me my name was being said. The
Mhm.
guy I saw, I mean, obviously Josh wasn't talking to me. Hannah was being kind of cagey, but I had my number 1, my number 2 out there in McGingo and Samantha, and they never told me like, "Hey, you're getting votes, like Josh is saying you're," like, they never told me that.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt out a vibe, and I was like, "This does not feel great. I think people are lying to me. We'll see how it goes." I did the best I could, then yeah, that's all I can do.
I remember that vote because your brother Mark was texting me of like, "Hey, like, what's the address? Something about coming out today." And like right when I was like, "Yeah, like Luke's doing pretty good." Like you guys ended up losing the challenge, and and then the production team tells me that you're on the hot seat, and I was like, "Oh, I just told Mark to come out here, and Luke might be going back home the opposite way." But no, you pulled it out, and I think that was definitely, one of the coolest moves that we saw out there, especially in the pre-merge, because pre-merge is usually I don't want to say easy. Like pre-merge is never easy, but it's never as tense as a lot of these votes like really kind of came down to from day one, like from the jump. Like there was options. There wasn't really like an easy pick off. There was always like some sort of like level of strategy or social dynamic going into it. And so I think that one really like said like, nope, day two is gonna be the same. So after that, like we also see Hannah kind of go right up to you and be like, "Hey, like I really wanted to work with you." Josh didn't, so like I had to go with Josh for a sec, but like, "Hey, like can we like I guess how did you want to navigate Hannah? Because on camera you said like I don't trust Hannah, kind of in the same boat of I don't really trust Zoe, like these partners in the game. Um how did you want to like navigate them in the game from that point forward?
Yeah, no, I still thought it was me versus the 3 partners in the world. I mean, I've seen Survivor, when your ally gets voted off and you're blindsided, you go back to the majority and you say, "I wanna work with them," and you don't really mean that, but you
Yeah.
just can't say that. But I didn't know Hannah actually meant that, and, from watching Survivor, I was like, "Oh, she's lying to me, okay." But, in hindsight, she was, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I looking back when I was playing, I still wanted to target the couples, the partners, but in the back of my mind, I was like, "Well, now that Josh is out, Hannah's threat level is way, way farther down." Same with
Yeah.
Zoe. Once Adrian's out, now, like, Zoe's door is open to me. Do I wanna go to the end with them? I don't maybe not, but I'm down to work with them, like, I maybe down the line, but at that moment, I was still anti-Hannah, but I think in the back of my mind, I was like, she's not as big of a threat now that Josh is out, so I could be in, yeah, and it did happen.
I mean, yeah, you eventually start working with Hannah, you eventually start working with Zoe. I really do think like once you like kind of put those arms down against them and started like working with them, that's when like you really picked up steam of being in control of votes and moving forward with that. I think I want to know when your relationship with Aubrey started because it at least in the edit and especially in the footage that we had, I know how everything kind of ends, so I try to sprinkle breadcrumbs throughout it. But we really didn't get like a pinpoint of when you and Aubrey really started to develop that like in-game relationship.
Yeah, I think what started at the Josh vote out. I mean, in my head, I know she said she, wanted to work with Hannah closer and getting Josh out made sense. But I mean, to me, it was like you saved me. I mean, if you don't do that, yeah, we tie again and someone it's a rock draw and okay, if we lose the next challenge, we're back here again. It's me versus Josh again. So in my head, it wasn't just about Aubrey saving me, it's about she helped me advance my game. And so yeah, I felt hugely indebted to Aubrey when she saved me there. And then also just I think we won the next challenge or two.
Yeah.
And so our whole group was just vibing underneath the Vendetta tree. And I think that's where it started too. Like I mean, she's a great person. I mean, she's easy to talk to. I had a great time talking to her, to Hannah, to Zoe, to Sam. I mean, I really meant it. I think it got cut out in the my final tribal where Hannah asked me what was my like favorite part of the game. And it really was meeting all these people. I mean, just chopping it up under the Vendetta tree, talking to everybody, meeting people I wouldn't have met if I wasn't here. I mean, it
Mhm.
really was awesome. And Aubrey, I think we bonded over Greek life. I don't remember what it was, but she was just easy to talk to, and I was like, yeah, I can see myself working with her, and that's what it is. You want to work with people you like
Mhm.
talking to and hanging out with. So I think that's kind of where it started.
Mhm. I gotta say, I really did like the new Vendetta Tribe or Vendetta 2.0. Like, you guys had such fun B-roll. Like, I know Teo would just like set the camera up and just roll it, and you would talk about like the most average everyday things, and, and it was just kind of fun to watch. And you kind of see that. Like, I put some like clips in there, but I don't know. You guys really did just have a lot of good camaraderie, and I think that's an underrated part of the game. I feel like because we didn't really get to see too much of you because you guys won the next couple ones, and then meanwhile we have the big Postma takeover, Postma family mafia, gathering their numbers on the other side. And we eventually see Josie go home. We see Adrian go home. And they are just kind of like boom, boom. What is your reaction to seeing both of those players go home? And we can start with Josie and then head over to Adrian.
Yeah, I mean, Josie made sense to me. I knew they were on her since the big tribal council, and I knew if someone was going to go home, it probably would be her next. So that one didn't surprise me. Adrian really surprised me. I was not prepared for that because I assumed he was close with Allie, who was Tyler's sister. So I figured they're all up together. And then once he got voted out, I'm like, well, Tyler did my work for me. That's fantastic. Now the Zoe door is open. Now I can work with Zoe now. So I felt like he threw the challenge to get. I think that was when he threw the challenge.
Yeah, he threw the challenge. He said he threw the challenge. I think Aubrey put a pretty killer performance up on that.
Oh, yeah.
I stand by that they would have been cooked anyway if Aubrey was the one shouting. So, but yeah, he did throw the challenge technically to get Josie out.
Yes, I mean once they voted Josie and then Adrian, I was like, well, this kind of helps my game now. Like, yeah, I'll work with Zoe. Sure, yeah, that opens that door for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And in bigger door that was opened was your trips out to exile with John. So like you went with John and you decided to take John or send John. I forget. I think it was you guys got to pick somebody. So you picked John and then I said, oh, like you get to take your partner. So you got to go with them. And I know from your point of view, you thought John was in danger, but John was kind of in a good spot on that tribe. And I know he shielded that from you a little bit, but what was that, relationship like? That walk down to exile, that hold or take challenge that you had. What is something, that we might not have seen with that conversation with John and your retelling of how that relationship really started blossoming there?
Yeah, no, I remember I told, maybe I said my confessional. I know I told the tribe, I was like, I think John's on the outs. I mean, we should send him. I tried using that as why I sent him, but really going into day 2, I realized that, and I'm not saying I'm the smartest guy at all, but you can have all these plans and you can be the smartest person out there. If you don't have the social capital to execute those plans, good luck doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, who doesn't love John? I mean, John's an awesome guy. So, he has the social capital. So if I can get close with John, my game's open. So I'm like, oh, this is a great, let's send John. Like, I think you had sent another partner there earlier. So I was like, oh, if I can get John to exile, like I can open up my entire game to him. Like this can be our chance to like connect and really spread things out here.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was my goal going to exile with John was, okay, this is somebody I can get close with him. I can use him down the road and like his alliances, and I can further my plan of getting Tyler in his alliance. I didn't know he was with Tyler. That was a shock to me. Mm-hmm. But that was my plan of going to exile with John. And then I was like, all right, like I want to solidify this with him. Let me give him this idol. Like I'm going to hold. There's no way I'm going to like seem selfish. This is my like offering of peace to John. Like I want to work with you. Like this is it. Like this is what I want. Didn't work out that way. He's too much of a nice guy as well. He wanted to hold too. So it didn't work out, but I felt like in the long run it did work out because we found each other and we're able to work off that in the end. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we didn't get a lot of footage or even just like discussion of how those decisions got made to send people to exile. And I do know that you were a decent part of those decisions. I know maybe Josie, like when you guys ended up sending Carrie and like Josie ended up going, like you might have had a say in that. Like, so I think there's some merit to that social pull that you were able to pull that off that might not have been captured on the cameras. So definitely kudos to that one, because yeah, the game definitely would have maybe stayed a bit stagnant if John wasn't propped up in those positions to make those moves. So we swap again, and you are still in the Vendetta camp, and you end up in like this insane kind of situation where you have Zoe and Magingo, and then you have Sam, Allie, and Brooklyn. And Allie announces she has a steal a vote, and Sam and Brooklyn are just kind of okay with going with Magingo and Zoe. You didn't want Magingo out, but you were kind of fine with Zoe going out. How was your relationship with the two of them at that point, and why were you so willing to kind of work with Allie at that point?
Yeah, I think I hadn't worked with her yet, and I knew she was gonna be with Tyler. So I was like, if she had trusted me with telling me she has a steal a vote, like I won't shut the door. I'll see where it goes, because this was the first time in the game someone had told me like they have an advantage. That was no one had told me that before. So I'm like, okay, maybe this could work. I don't know. Like I don't want to work with Tyler and his alliance, but I mean, if you're trusting me with this, I maybe. And at that point, I was working with Zoe Magingo. I thought I didn't want Zoe to go. I can't remember. I think they were gonna vote for Magingo initially. Yeah,
It was such a weird vote. Like, it was one of the hardest ones for me to edit because it really did flip so quick. It was Magingo was the original vote, and then you and Sam kind of were like, I don't really want Magingo. You
right.
didn't want Magingo to go. And so you talked to Sam, and Sam also wanted Zoe to go. So they flipped the vote over to Zoe, and then we go to tribal council, and Allie gets up because she remembers that Zoe has an idol from a rumor, and she goes and talks to Sam, flips the vote back to Magingo. You end up staying on Zoe for the vote, and everybody else flips to Magingo. Zoe plays her idol for Magingo, nullifying the votes, sending Brooklyn home. So kind of a crazy tribal council, especially with the different narratives going on. So it seemed like you were okay with Zoe going. It didn't really seem ideal for your game. But at that point, like, did you know Sam was really like lockstep with Allie?
No, I didn't. So not that I remember that vote out now. So I remember I didn't want Zoe or Magingo to go. I thought Allie was going to play your steal a vote. So I'm like, okay, I didn't know Zoe had an idol at this point. So I'm like, okay, she's a steal a vote. I can't do anything here. At least I'm gonna put the vote on Zoe, so it's not Magingo. And then they switched the vote to Magingo, and I'm like, I still don't want to do that. And I can't vote. I'm like, I can't vote for Magingo. She's my number one. She's had my back. I can't do that. So I'm like, well, I'll vote for Zoe. Like, yeah, Magingo will go home, but I can't vote for Magingo. If I vote for anybody else, they're gonna take it personal. So I had to vote. Probably wasn't a great line of thought, but I'm like, I just can't vote for Magingo. I won't do it. Like I won't. So I'll vote for Zoe instead. She'll understand why I did it. And then she plays her idol, and I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. Like, you saved my number one. This is awesome. And I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't know you had an idol. Like, we're supposed to be working together. This whole thing could have been avoided if I would have known you had an idol. I would have told you to play it, and this would have been fine. So now that, again, I'm like, okay, I'm working up towards Zoe. I want to work with her. But like, you played an idol. You saved my number one. I'm glad you did. But I had no idea you had that. So you're not telling me you have something. Allie is. Like, again, I don't know if I can trust Zoe or not. That's why it constantly went back and forth with Zoe. Because I'm like, I don't know how much I can really. I want to work with you, but I keep seeing you lied about the idol. And I asked you lied about the exile trip, and I asked you day one. You didn't tell me about the idol day two. I don't know where I stand with Zoe, so that's why I kept flip flopping back with her.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. I feel definitely feel like that kind of clears some things up, because sometimes it really did feel like Zoe, at least in her confessionals, was like, I really want to work with Luke. And then the actions might not have relayed best on camera of where your head would be at, because it seemed like, you guys were kind of in that alliance. And then right off the bat, you flip with Hannah to vote with Allie again to vote off Magingo. So it was kind of at least flippy floppy at that point for maybe your game. But I also feel like from a viewer, that might have been the most uneasy ground that you were standing on probably throughout the whole game, because there really wasn't a point to go off of. If you go for Allie, particularly, if you go for her, you're going to get the wrath of Tyler at the merge. And I mean, Sam, who you thought was your number one, actually voted to go against you. Like, we saw you find that out in real time. Like, how was that information kind of coming at you?
Yeah, no, it definitely turned my world upside down. I was not, when Zoe's like, no, I voted for Josh. I was like, no, Sam did. She's like, no, I did. I was like, that blew my mind. So then I was like, I wish you had told me earlier. I would have been on your side way before this then.
I don't know, like, what happened, like, because we probably had maybe like 5-10 minute like gap in between the tribal and whatever the next challenge was, because it seemed like nobody talked about like that vote out of like where the votes were, where the votes lied. Like, Sam was able to keep a lie, and Sam will be the first one to tell you that he does not keep lies well. So that happened. And then Aubrey at some point, I think like 2 rounds later, she ended up telling you like, yeah, I voted with for Josh. And like, that cleared some stuff up. And I don't know what was going on, but that was definitely a point in the game, at least between all the tribe swaps, where information was going all over the place. And information in Survivor is usually, a hot commodity. It's like kind of currency in that game. But in this game, it felt like accurate information was the actual currency, because that kind of, a lot of people had assumptions and on how things were running. Not to say that you were. I think that's primarily coming from Tyler's camp of where the game was. But yeah, that was kind of a uneasy ground for you. Talk us through that next round where the jury is starting and Hannah gets swapped over to your tribe because Carrie plays that tribe swap advantage. And Hannah finds herself kind of in this swing vote position, working with Allie and Sam, or working with Magingo and Zoe. And she wants to bring you in as that swing vote too. And I thought that was a really good move on Hannah's part. But I also think that's such an underrated move for you too. Like, it seems like you just kind of went along with Hannah on that vote. Like, she flipped you on your ally Magingo. But like, you also are taking a big risk, realizing that one alliance is a sinking ship, having to cut that loose and enter the merge, supposedly under the guise that you are in on that alliance. And so I feel like that is such an underrated, bold move from you that you also worked with Hannah on. And that was what I was talking about earlier, where I was like, when you and Hannah start kind of lining up together, that was when I feel like some of those big plays and social dynamic maneuvering was when you and Hannah were kind of like at the top of your game. Not to say the rest of the game wasn't great, but that was when I was like, yes, that's some good social Survivor. So that's my take on that situation. Walk us through your take on that situation.
Yeah. Well, I do want to go back real quick. The tribal that Josh got voted out, and so I did find out Aubrey voted for me right then.
Okay.
So I remember when they re-voted, and Hannah asked Josh, like, how are you feeling? He's like, yeah, I feel good. And she's like, well, you shouldn't. And I'm like, what? And Aubrey looks at me and says, yeah, you're good. I was like, oh, awesome. Okay. So I knew from that tribal that Aubrey was on my side.
I forgot about that, because we definitely cut out the live tribal aspect of that. Because there was a group where everybody was just like, yeah, I think we're gonna flip on Josh, and and it was Aubrey that said okay. So yeah, I forgot we cut that out, but Hannah stuck with her man, so that's something. But yeah, fast forwarding to again back to that. I guess what was your interpretation of that sequence of events with Hannah?
Yeah, yeah. At no point did I ever want to vote on Magingo. I think that was pretty obvious in the edit. But yeah, I really, if I could went to the final three with Magingo, I would have. I really wanted to, but I realized the way the game was moving, I couldn't do that. And it goes back to my realization after day one. You can have all the plans in the world, but if you don't have the social capital to back it up, you can't do anything. And I saw John as Hannah, John and Hannah as two huge holders of social capital. People, they knew people listened to them, they had connections. So I'm thinking, okay, I think I'm with John. I sent him to exile. He's for sure in the merge. I think hopefully he grabs an idol. I thought he was going to be an idol, not the safety chain. Hopefully he gets something, comes back. This is a great chance. Josh is gone. I can work with Hannah here. I mean, I want to work with Magingo, but if I vote with Hannah here, this makes her feel comfortable working with me in the future. And if I fight back on this, if I dig my heels in with Magingo and I show Hannah that I'm not going to listen to her, that I won't work with her, that I won't hear her out in this vote, there's no chance she's going to vote with me moving forward. That's kind of how I felt with Sam. The entire game, I was like, Sam, like you're the guy I want. Like let's do this and let's vote together. And every time he I respect it. He was loyal with Tyler and Allie, but he dug his heels into where I felt like I couldn't work with him in the future. I was like, I need to be open with Hannah. I need to show that I can work with her. And hopefully, like she said, like we can do our own thing later. I bought into that. I'm like, if I work with you now, hopefully later down the road, like you'll want to work with me and hear out what I have to say. And it did the next tribal.
And I think a big part of you talk about it a little bit. I don't want to say a big part of it, but I think that was the best move for your game, especially considering the fact Samantha came in on the jury. So like that is kind of the remnants of your alliance, like on the jury already of what you worked with on day one. So you kind of really didn't have a choice besides blending in with the coalition of Tyler's friends. And I feel like that was a underrated move from you, because I feel like that it takes a lot of guts to realize you're on that sinking ship and cut that number one, because it's not easy. It's really not easy to write somebody's name down that you were working with, and that's always a painful part. And you talk about that in your final pitch to Magingo about that, but I commend you on that vote. But we enter the merge then, and that is it kind of feels like it's a storm is a brewing kind of. For some reason, I mean, we've talked to Tyler about this. We talk about Tyler quite a bit because he was a big focus of this season. And that round, he just is relaxing. He is, sitting down, enjoying his merge feast. And it seemed like you and Aubrey link up. And that is when that dialogue starts of like, I'm not happy where we're at in the game. Aubrey shares with you that she tried to take a swing out and get Tyler out that previous round, but Eli didn't go for it. So at the merge, we see, as much as I can put into the episode, what information might you have gotten at the merge that we didn't see, or what information did we see at the merge that really kind of gave you confidence of where the game was going? If not just confidence, but enlightenment on like a path forward.
Yeah, it really was Aubrey, Hannah, and John. I remember when you first said, go Canoodle, Aubrey made a beeline and was like, I want to work with you. Like, let's do something here. And I'm like, yeah, like, absolutely, let's do it. And then I'm talking to a few more people, and both Hannah and I think it was John come up to me and they say, hey, we heard like Tyler's throwing your name out. He mentioned your name. And that was the first time the entire game someone told me that. Like back to the Josh vote, no one said, hey, your name's been thrown out. Fast forward to end of day 2, multiple people are telling me, not that they just are hearing my name, that they want to do something about it. They want to work with me and not have that happen. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that was a great end result to Day two, I said, I need social capital. I need people who like can work with me and can carry out my plans. And Hannah and John were fantastic for that. They're like, hey, we hear your name. I don't want you to go home. Like, let's do something about it. And then like Aubrey's like gunning for Tyler already. I'm like, let's do the damn thing.
Mhm.
And then John pulls out his safety chain, and I'm ecstatic. I'm like, let's do it right now. I mean, this is perfect. He pulls an Eli. We tell Zoe. I think Zoe tells Carrie. Someone might have told Carrie.
I don't think Carrie knew about the safety chain. I think Carrie knew that people were going for Tyler. So Carrie was in on the vote. Poor Carrie. Poor Carrie got the excluding of that one. But yeah, you guys kind of silently got the majority at a merge, which is so hard to do of getting that majority. And what was your reaction? Because that part is also one of my favorites of the season, when John goes, okay, like I have something from Exile, like it's a safety chain advantage, and explains like the rules of it. What was your reaction to finding that out? And yeah, like how did you feel with it
during tribal, or when he told me?
when he told you during like the canoodle session?
Oh, I could not have been happier. I mean, I think he might have told me one-on-one, and then he's like, who should we bring in? And I'm like, I have like Aubrey. I want her in for sure. Zoe has immunity. We should go along with it. Like, I like Hannah. He's like, yeah, I like Hannah too. He's like, well, I have Eli. I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's bring in Eli. Yeah. So that group kind of formulated how to go about. And I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean, Hannah was close with Tyler. I don't know if I don't bend the knee that last tribal, and I show that I can work with Hannah, I don't know if she fully turns on Tyler. I mean, I knew they were close. I'm like, I mean, going against someone like that is pretty tough. So I really give her credit for joining us and going against Tyler and Allie, people she knew outside of the game, to make that vote. So I was ecstatic when that happened. I was so happy with the group we had. I love all of them. They're fantastic. I love playing with them. So I was on top of the world when John told me about that.
Yeah, I think you're right with that. Just that the confidence to make that move. Like we kind of saw Eli not really like he would dip his toes into talking about going for Tyler, but never fully commit until the numbers were there. And then under the veil of the safety chain, it seemed like he was ready to do it. And then like Hannah was kind of in on it. I think Hannah like really wanted to make that move against Tyler. Like she knew it was coming, but with you on the side, with John on her side, like an Aubrey, like I feel like that was kind of the like good four group of like, okay, we can make this work, because it seemed like all four of you really trust each other. And then like Eli, Zoe were kind of added in as like, as like, okay, just make sure we secure the numbers a little bit, or we need an extra person. So that was my interpretation of the situations. But yeah, I think I don't know if that move is pulled off if you're not, willing to go for McGingo, because I feel like at that point also McGingo's on the jury. Allie's got an idol in her pocket. Like her and Tyler are, thinking that they're on easy street. Their guards are so down that you guys were able to work something out to get to that point. And so John whips out that safety chain advantage and starts, naming people. What was it like watching it back? Because I want to say I did an okay job at editing it, but like, how was that tribal for you in the moment? And then what was it like kind of experiencing it, as an episode?
It was awesome. It was like, because that group only knew about it, and I knew Tyler and Allie didn't. And Tyler had been so on top of the world. It's like knowing a secret that you can't tell anybody. Like, oh, I know what's going to happen, but I can't tell anybody. So it was the build was awesome. And then when he explains it and says my name, I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. So it was awesome to experience in real time, and having John sit next to me and that shot of us together, it was cool to watch back too. But yeah, I do want to say I did tell Zoe that if she had not won immunity, she would have been included in that safety chain too. And I do believe I would have included her in that too.
Okay.
I think we were. I didn't tell Zoe about the McGingo vote out just because my last talk was with Hannah, so I couldn't. But at
Yeah.
that point, I was locked in with Zoe for the merge. And yeah, you did mention Carrie. She was on the outs. I watching that back, I became a Carrie fan. I felt so bad. I mean, she had been to exile so many times. I mean, if I had knew what she had been through when 100, I would have reached out to her so much sooner. I wish I would have played with her, but I had no idea when I was out there.
Yeah, we did see kind of a Luke Carey square off, not necessarily like, intense, but like you guys were very much not working together. I was going to ask like what that dynamic was like because you didn't get to work with her until the merge. So, I mean, just yeah, what was it? What was Carrie like for you in the game?
Yeah, I honestly just kind of associate her with Tyler. I mean, the entire game, I thought she was close with Allie, and then what really sold it for me was when we lost the first challenge for the second swap, and she had to choose which tribe to go on. And
Mm,
she chose Tyler, and I was like, "Of course she's gonna choose Tyler. She's close to Tyler. That makes sense. Her friend's over there, yeah." So I kinda just grouped her in with Tyler. I thought they were, like, so close.
yeah.
Had no idea. I wish I did, but did not know.
Yeah. I mean, I think Carey did become that, missing piece to some players' games. And I think John might have suffered from the fate of not, dealing with Carey or working with Carey. And I think Zoe picked her up, and that was a big part of why she had a deep end game run the way that she did. So kudos to Carey on that. Again, I gave her flowers yesterday. So we can refocus back to you, Luke. So waking up on day 3, you are, on top of the world. You have that safety chain. In the next couple rounds, you kind of just use that safety chain group moving forward. But what connections are you making within those rounds that might not translate well? Because I mean, we're working with a majority alliance probably for the first time in the game that's not run by Tyler. And when it is Tyler's, majority alliance, it really is kind of just him, Allie, and Sam talking about being Grand Rapids strong. So when you guys are in that safety chain, did you view anybody as like the leader of that? Like, did you notice anybody speaking up? And I guess, yeah, what was your dynamic in that? And did you know eventually that you would have to break that up?
I mean, this sounds too good to be true, but I or like a not smart idea, but I didn't wanna break it up. I mean, I after we voted Tyler out still at the end of day 2, I'm like, "Okay, we're going for Allie and Sam, right?" I told John and, Aubrey, like, "Yeah, we're down for that." And so my idea was, "Alright, we're gonna vote for Allie, we're gonna vote for Sam, and we're gonna vote for Carrie. Those are the 3 people who weren't in the safety chain. Let's just do that and sing Kumbaya, and let's all battle it out with ourselves,
Mhm.
after that." So I really wanted that to happen. Didn't happen that way. But yeah, within that group, I'd say definitely John and Aubrey. Those were my 2 people that I was gonna stick with. I wanna go to the final 3 with them. For the same reasons. I remember when Aubrey told me that she thought John could beat us, and my initial reaction was like, I hadn't thought about that. So I was like, "Oh, no, 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 that can't happen." I genuinely just wanted to go to the end with people that I liked playing with, and it was Aubrey and John.
Mhm.
And once I thought about it, I was like, "Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, well, everybody loves John. Yeah, yeah." But yeah, no, I it was definitely Aubrey, John, and then I'd say Zoe and Hannah. Yeah, but yeah, I don't think anybody really spoke out more than anybody else. I feel like it was a joint collective
Mm.
effort to, all right, we're gonna do Allie first. Well, Allie might have an idol, so well, let's do Sam. Okay, well, we're gonna split the votes this way. Okay, that makes sense. We do it. All right, we're gonna go for Allie now, and we all kind of figure out how we're gonna do that too. So it really felt like a cohesive unit, which is why I loved it. I mean,
Mhm.
this is the first time in the game I had a unit, a majority that wanted to work with me and wanted to see me go far, and the last thing I wanna do was to break that up. So it was definitely a shock when it happened prematurely.
Mhm. Yeah, so Aubrey, your number one, goes against John and, kind of sides with Zoe on that one. How was that for you? Like, Zoe kind of filled you in very last minute about it. Aubrey was trying to maybe like be in your ear and give you a heads up. Like, were you blindsided by John going home?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the last conversation I had was with Zoe, and the entire round, nobody told me Zoe. The entire round, it was, or no one told me John. It was Zoe, Zoe, Zoe. So then the last conversation I have is with Zoe, and she tells me John. I'm thinking, okay, that's just what people told her
Yeah.
to we're off the scent. And yeah, no, I was blindsided, and I came back from that tribal thinking they just kept me out of the dark. It's a win or go home for me. I cannot lose a challenge. I don't know how much I can trust Aubrey and Zoe now, but it's before I wanted to go to the end with whoever and I liked most. Now it's all right, screw it. I'm getting to the end. I'm gonna win this thing. I'm gonna try as hard as I can.
Mhm. So John, when he got voted out on his podcast, he said, he's like, I don't know what Luke was saying, but like I would have won. Watching the season back, do you think if you went to the finals with John, and we'll throw Aubrey in there too, do you think that you would have been able to pull it out?
I have no idea. I don't know. I it's little main character energy. I hope I would have, but I don't know. I mean, the guy, how do you not like John? I mean, John can be friends with anybody. I mean, he's a fantastic guy.
Mhm.
So I think he would have been the front runner. Um, but at that point in the game, I didn't care. I
Mhm.
was like, I want to go to the end with John and Aubrey because I don't feel like they've lied to me. Well, at that point they hadn't. I don't think they've lied to me. Like I've enjoyed them as people and playing with them. If I lose either one of them, I'm happy. I
Mhm.
got to the end with people who I wanted to play with, and that's that.
Gotcha. So once John goes out, you were kind of already heating up the oven of your your run of immunity wins. You were starting. I think you that John's round you won one, and then you ended up winning the next two, finishing out the season with four that you won earlier in day two. So, um, is that when you might have started crafting your narrative of, this is my physical game, this is what I'm doing, or did you already kind of have that in mind?
Yeah, I kind of had that in mind. There wasn't like a grand speech I like concocted at any point. It was just kind of like, all right, this was my goal day one, day two, and my day three. Kind of walk through what I was thinking, what I had to do, what I
Mhm.
tried to do, um, just kind of tell my story. And I felt like it all kind of came together. And I was like, yeah, I did do that. Yeah, I can, explain this way and hit this home this way and emphasize this move I made. And, it's kind of break open my story in a way that the jury can relate to it.
To give you credit and to give a lot of the players credit from Bad Blood, like you guys definitely utilize those confessionals to talk about your games and mentally process like where things were going. And I don't think a lot of people, especially in our Dearborn era where they were just kind of like spewing out things, but like you guys were crafting narratives for yourself, whether consciously or not, but like you were really analyzing like where you were at in the game, how the last round might have affected your game, and moving forward, what your best option would be. So with you particularly, like you would set your sights on like, oh, I want to go for Hannah this round, or I want to go for Eli this round. Um, and you would say that in your confessionals, and then it seemed like a lot of the social pushing of that was done by either Aubrey or Zoe. What might not have we seen? Like, were you just like on board with that? Like, or like let them do everything and get the blood on their hands? Or were you just in there with them, like getting dirty with them?
Yeah, I don't think pushing the vote means you're standing in the middle of camp saying, I want Hannah voted out. I think it means saying the right things to the right people and just backing off. I mean, I remember after John got voted out, I said in my confessional, all right, I need to win this challenge, vote Hannah off, win the next and vote Eli out, and then go from there. Like I need these people out next. And I remember, I it was Aubrey. I went up to and I was like, I think Hannah's played a great game. Look at the jury. I think she has some great votes. Like I think she beats both of us. And then
Mhm.
I could tell she really wanted Hannah out. So then I go and tell Zoe, I'm like, yeah, Zoe, like I think like, what are you thinking? I think like Hannah's a good player. And she's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I felt like I said the right things to the right people and then just shut up. Like
Mhm.
once I know you're on board with me, I don't need to keep talking.
Yeah.
I'll go and talk to Hannah and Eli, and I'll hear what they have to say, and I'll keep them occupied, and I'll talk to them, and I don't need to constantly push a certain name if I know. I said what I need to say to you. I said what I need to say to you. I'm gonna, back off and go talk to people I'm voting for and make sure they can't canoodle with somebody. So for me, it wasn't that I just was on board and let things happen. It was I felt like I used my conversations wisely, and
Okay.
then once I knew that this person was on my side, why do we need to talk? I don't need to talk anymore.
Mhm.
You are going to do what I want to do, so I'll let you keep talking.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So for that round, where you end up getting Hannah out, Hannah sniffs you and Aubrey out pretty slyly, I feel like. But she for the first time in the game, to use your terminology, didn't seem like she had that social capital to do anything about it. And something that you were doing, which was never really addressed in the confessional, of like, this is a strategy that I'm doing, but you can definitely pick it up on the footage of them coming up to you and being like, "What's your relationship like with Aubrey?" And you'd be like, "I don't know, like, she's fine. Like, we're not really tight, but like, you guys really were at that point." So I guess let's talk about that. Like, were you like as tight with Aubrey as it seemed, and were I don't know how I'm phrasing this question, but yeah, just talk about that strategy that you had.
Yeah, yeah, I thought I was close with her. It was kind of the same sense of McGingo when Hannah approached me and was like, she wanted to vote for McGingo. I'm not going to dig my heels in because I don't want to give away how close I am with her. Same thing with Aubrey. I'm not going to come out and say, yeah, yeah, we're pretty close. Yeah, yeah, we're good. No, I'm gonna same thing. Like I'm gonna say what I need to say, and I'm not gonna say anything else. I mean, I don't want people in on how close I am with her. Yeah, I really thought at that point my closest were Zoe and Aubrey, and I know Zoe had Carrie, so I was like, well, I don't need to give anything to Hannah and Eli because I have four. That's
Mhm.
we'll roll with that. I'll just give you vanilla answers and kind of roll with the punches, and we'll go the next tribal.
Okay. If the vote was going towards Aubrey, so like, say a hypothetical question, like, if Hannah was able to get the sway to go for Aubrey, like, would you have flipped on Aubrey, or were you gonna like maybe fight for her to stay?
No, I would have fought for her to stay. And I don't think at that point in the game, I think Zoe was a lot closer with me than Hannah. I
Okay.
think she would have voted because I think before that was when Zoe told me and Carrie she wanted to go to the final three with us. So that's when I knew I had them. So I don't think Hannah would have had the capacity to change the vote. But if she did, I would not have voted for Aubrey. Like I was going to go to the end with her.
Okay. Yeah, so talk about that final three. So Zoe pitches the final three, and like, I mean, that's one of those situations where you don't say no to a final three.
Right.
What was your head at when you said yes to the final three? Like, was that what you wanted to commit to?
I'll be honest, it wasn't. It was kind of the same strategy I had with the votes. I'll just say what you think you want me to say, and
Yeah.
I have other intentions. So I, it was an option for me because I was the one who approached John and Aubrey about a final three, and then Aubrey later said she was in, but that was the first person who came to me and said I wanted to be in the final three with you. So I was like, I don't want that, but like again, I kind of respect it. Like you want to take me to the end. It could be because you want to beat me. That kind of threw me off. So I
Mhm.
was like, I think she's saying this because she can beat me and carry in the end. So I don't love that, but like I'll work with you until Final Four. I want Hannah and Eli out. But after that, I will see what happens. But then I will say after we did get Hannah and Eli out, I mean, props to Carrie. She killed that last challenge. I really thought I was gonna win. And going into that, I was gonna take Zoe and Aubrey to the end with me. I wanted people in the end that I had worked with, and again, I was like, if I lose to Aubrey or Zoe, so be it. I like playing with both of them. Like, let's do it. Let's go to the end. Didn't work out that way,
Mhm.
but yeah, I sorry, I was a roundabout way, but I'd say I didn't put a lot of stock into the final three, but I really respected her for saying that, and I did want to take her to the end.
Okay, interesting. That's because, hearing that, it really kind of shed some light on how you set yourself up for that Final Four, because you had, you know, three different people that you had a Final Three with. Carrie might not be as on board as it, as it might have seemed, but Zoe and Aubrey were really pulling for you to be at the end with them. And then so we get to that Final Four, and you're in tears about losing that challenge, and your name isn't even on the chopping block. So you were shocked, in the game. How shocked were you watching it back? Did it make sense why? Like, obviously you ended up winning, so like this was this was their fault for not going for you. But like, did it make sense as to why Aubrey and Zoe were the two names that were out there?
I mean, even watching it back, not really, because in the moment, I really thought that, okay, they blindsided John, didn't tell me. They're gonna like take out the person who, who
Yeah.
is socially, strategically, and physically played the most all around game. And I was like, I mean, they just voted him out. They have to vote me out now. I mean, why wouldn't they? So that really confused me in game. But I can kind of see, I guess, why those were the two names voted out. Like again, Zoe was phenomenal. Zoe played a fantastic game, and that's why I wanted to vote her out in the final three eventually. Yeah, I think Aubrey also. She, I mean, I only played with Aubrey for that like two or one vote together pre-merge, and then all merge. But I mean, we didn't really play together pre-merge, so I think my narrative kind of surprised her. I don't think she saw that coming. So I don't really fault her for targeting Zoe because she didn't really see all of what I could have, all was going to say in the final tribal.
Mhm.
Um, why Zoe wanted to target Aubrey, I guess, was because of the final three we had solidified, which would make sense. But yeah, in the moment, I was not. I thought I was done. I thought that was it for me. Like, man, I made it this far. I can't believe I'm the last one voted out, and it's not how it worked out.
Yeah, it was interesting to kind of see how that jury ended up playing out, because it seemed like you had some really good sway with that first half of the jurors, like, and then the second half, were in Aubrey's camp, from Zoe to Eli, I believe it was, voted for Aubrey, and then John down to Samantha all voted for you. So at what point of that do you think was like your pitch? What part of that was like jury management? Like, we saw you really kind of go to bat for Sam, giving him some praise on there. So like, you sat down in that juror chair and gave a really good final speech. Like, talk us through that strategy, or was that just like off the cuff of what you needed to do? Did you know what you had to do in the final tribal council to get those votes? And I guess, yeah, walk us through that strategy.
Yeah, no, I thought I had 3 votes, to begin with. I thought I had McGingo, Samantha, and John. Once I told John that I didn't vote for him, I thought he'd be on my side. I really thought I was gonna get Zoe's vote out, or her vote. But I really just my plan was lay out my game, just show what a big threat I thought Tyler and his alliance were, and hope that his alliance had been out of the game enough to, not be emotional, not, and just that I was targeting them and just respect my game and what I was targeting and how big of a threat I thought they'd be,
Mhm.
and see that my narrative to its fullest, and hopefully respect my game and vote for me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Tyler straight up said that he was voting for you and that he was, interested in seeing what he didn't see. What do you think is something that the jurors might have, saw on this season that might not have been translated in the game from your gameplay?
Like what the camera didn't show,
Yeah, well, not even just what the camera didn't show. So, like, I mean, obviously, they don't know what's going on in your head. They don't know like your alliances and the moves that you were making. So Tyler made that, that statement saying that he was excited to see what you did behind the scenes. Um, they saw a Luke come into Final Tribal, winning 4 immunities. Fought from the bottom pretty consistently. You played from the bottom, from the top, and from the middle. Kind of an all around game, but mostly like I feel like you entered with like this underdog status, almost more so than Carrie did. Like I don't think Carrie's game was being viewed as this underdog. She seemed to like maybe be viewed as being like slipped through to get to the end, where it seemed like you were coming in fighting for that. So you spoke a lot about like claiming some moves, sending John to exile, getting people out that you wanted to get out. And we already talked about that, where you would, have the necessary conversations that you needed to have. So what is something, or what is, something that, that you watched coming back throughout the season that the jurors probably watched as well? And what is something that, you might not have been able to explain at Final Tribal and that they might be able to take away from your game?
Yeah, I think it really it's centered around Tyler because he was such a driving force pre-merge. And that first day, nobody was saying his name. No one was saying Hannah's name. No one was saying Josh's name. No one was saying none of their names. So I was really the first person to, speak that into existence. At the end of day one, I, talked to Samantha and Gingo and Eli, and I really was okay. I don't have the social capital for this now, but this is what I'm gonna do. Watch out for it. And if I'm at the end, like hopefully this will shine through. Like at the big tribal council, I kind of mentioned that they controlled every single vote there except for mine. I voted for Hannah. I knew Hannah was going to go home. That wasn't my evidence as, hey, like this is my plan now. I'm coming for you 6.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully when I'm at the end, like you'll see that you guys aren't there and I'm still here. I'm the last one standing.
Yeah.
And that's why I deserve to win. And I think I was just hoping that, the jury would see that and they would see that, okay, this person came in here knowing nobody, targeted the people who know everybody. And he's sitting there and I'm sitting over here. I hope they would respect that I came for them and I was the last one standing.
Okay. I love that answer. Looking to I'm trying to put myself in that Final Tribal. Looking to your left, you had Aubrey and you had Carrie. Now that you've seen the full season, like what do you think of Aubrey's game and what do you think of Carrie's game? Like between I was gonna say between the two of them, who would you vote for a winner? But I won't put you in the hot seat on that. I think both played a very deserving game. But I guess what do you think? What do you think of their games, having seen the full season? Like, do you? I'm trying to find a way to phrase this. You in the moment when you were at Final Tribal Council, like had your perception of Aubrey and had your perception of Carrie. Did that change watching it back of what to what extent that their games, had an effect on the game?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Aubrey's social and strategic game, I knew it was great. It was phenomenal watching it back. I mean, she killed that. And it didn't surprise me at all. I mean, she's a fantastic person. I mean, again, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to work with her. I mean, she was just magnetic and she was able to control votes and get people to like her. And it was phenomenal to watch. And Carrie, I felt so bad for Carrie. I mean, she deserved that final third. It was fun to watch her story. And again, I wish I knew what she thought and what she's going throughout this season. Cause I would have wanted to work with her at the merge if I knew all that. But yeah, no, it definitely made me, not that I didn't respect their games, it made me appreciate their games a lot more. And it made me think, wow, these people did play fantastic games. And they both deserve votes. And I was very happy to sit alongside with them at the end.
Okay. I feel like, again, kind of speaking to like the vibe of the jury, where they were kind of coming more at Aubrey for like an apology tour, and they were coming at you for more of like explain your game to us. Did you get that vibe of like, and I feel like you capitalized on it. Like, did you get that same vibe from the jury of like, this is like, they might be bitter for other reasons, and I'm going to, capitalize on that.
Maybe a little bit. I think also a big part of it is winning immunity because the jury only gets to see 5-10 minutes, and if you come in and wearing immunity, that's a huge flag for green flag for them.
Mhm.
I mean, they could have been bitter at Aubrey, but I also think, that's Survivor. That's a jury management. I mean, I voted out Magingo. I mean, she still voted for me. Sam was my number one B. She still voted for me. The people were on the jury. I voted out Tyler. I voted out Allie. I voted out Sam. And they still voted for me. So I think jury management is a key thing too, because people do vote with their emotions. And I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, if I can vote, my narrative can encapsulate that and can play to their emotions as well, I'm gonna do that.
Mhm.
So yeah, I felt like emotion could have been a part of it, but I also want to work that into my game and show and say, hey, I respect your game, what you played. Here's my game, and hopefully your emotion and your logic plays in your vote.
Mhm. I don't want to take anything away in saying that, they made an emotional decision making you champion, but I feel like Aubrey and like between you, Aubrey, and Carrie, like depending on how you pitch your game, I feel like each one of you had a winning game to some extent, depending on how you would pitch it to the jury. And I think Aubrey and Carrie, we've talked about it with Carrie. I'll probably talk about it with Aubrey a little bit, like when we have our podcast. But I feel like they were more on the defensive, and you came guns blazing, like on the offensive. Like this is where I was at with my head and kind of describing those moves. So giving you kudos. Like, I mean, I knew you were going to law school, and it was already feeling like you were, like prepping to be on that bench to talk. So I give you kudos on that. But yeah, that kind of brings us to us reading the votes. What was it like, having those votes read and being crowned champion?
Yeah, it was it was awesome, man. And like I said, having my brother Mark there, watching it, being there and watching it with me, it was fantastic. It was cool to be there and experience. And yeah, again, Aubrey played a fantastic game. So when it was between me and her, I was so happy she received as many votes as she did too. She played awesome.
Mhm.
So it was surreal in the moment. It was so much fun to watch back with my parents and my sister. So yeah, definitely an awesome experience.
What was your favorite thing watching back? I know there's probably a lot of moments and stuff that, what was something that was probably the most fun to be able to revisit, with your family or just watching by yourself?
Yeah, well, my family loved the little clip you had of me in high school. They loved that one.
Yeah.
Um, favorite, just the challenges were fun. Just seeing me like seeing the bucket challenge was fun. Um, Seeing the final five challenge, that was cool.
Mhm.
The challenges were fun to watch back, but also just like connecting and with people that I had just met a day ago. It's kind of like that trauma bond you get, and it was really cool just seeing the conversations we had and how we worked together, and it was that was really fun watching it back.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, you guys were a great group. It was so hard out there. We've said it multiple times on the podcast, multiple times throughout the season. The weather was very unforgiving. So you guys really were a ball of positivity for a crew that was getting progressively more depleted. So we were right there with you, and it was a lot of fun being able to play. And I mean, honestly, I don't miss editing, but I miss seeing you guys on my computer, all the time because it was definitely good memories, trauma bonding, so to speak. So I guess I proposed this question um, at the beginning of the game about what bad blood means to you. Like, do you choose to like bathe in that bad blood, and or do you choose to like avoid it in totality? And so you are in a very specific position as the winner to answer that question. Like, how do you think your game played out, and like, how much bad blood do you feel like you took on?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I didn't want to, but when I had to, I did. An example of that would be voting Magingo out, voting Zoe out. I think the best part of my game was being fluid when I had to be fluid. I didn't want to work with any of the six. I want to go against them. But when I felt that, you know what, this is in my best interest, I need to, put my ego down. I have to do what's best for I think my game moving forward. I need to do that. So I think I had a little bit of blood in my hands. Didn't want to get a ton, but I feel like some was you can't escape, and win without having any blood on your hands. So I thought some was necessary, but I tried to avoid it when I could.
Okay. All right. So we did something with Carrie this last podcast where we did word association, basically going through the whole cast and just letting me know like what the first word comes to mind and giving a maybe a little brief explanation on why you think that. I know some of these might be a little bit hard because of either not playing with them. So just whatever you're feeling, either provide that explanation, don't. We'll just breeze through them. Sound okay?
Sounds good.
Good. All right. So first up, we have Adrian.
Oh, I didn't play with Adrian, but I'd say energetic. Whenever I was around him, I mean, he's had a smile on his face. He was ready to go for the challenges, and I really appreciate that 'cause I'm a competitor too. So I love that he was always ready to go. I love that.
Nice. How about Allie?
Ooh, I'd say she was smart. I'd say sly because she was quiet but very smart. She was just as smart and as strategic as the game as Tyler, but she did it in such a quieter way that she didn't have as big of a target as Tyler did. So I'd say, yeah, sly in a good way. In a good way.
Okay. All right. Aubrey.
Aubrey. Ooh, I'd say just magnetic. I mean, she's just a fantastic person to be around. I liked talking to her about the game, about things outside the game, canoodling with her, doing challenges with her. I mean, she was just a fun person to be around, which is why I wanted to work with her. And I felt like I could trust her too. So yeah,
Okay. How about Brooklyn?
Brooklyn. Um, I'd say energy. She brought the energy in challenges, at tribals, at canoodling. She was fierce, brought the energy. I loved that. She was yelling, screaming during challenges. She brought the fire. I really enjoyed that.
Okay. And this might be one that you might not be too familiar with. How about Chase, our first boot?
Chase. Can't say I'm familiar with him. I'd say robbed. First,
Okay.
that's tough.
I'll take that one. Eli.
Ooh, I'd say, hmm, strategic's kind of boring. I'd say cunning. Again, the same vein as Allie's, quieter, but I mean, very smart. Actually, I'd say all around. He was great in challenges too. I mean, the social aspect was fantastic. Played a fluid game as well. I'd say all around. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. How about Grace?
Great. She was someone I wanted to play with. I was bumming. Her and Brooklyn knew some divine child people, so I was bumming when she got voted out. Um, Rob, can I use two for
Yeah,
three things? I'd say Rob. Yeah.
All right. How about Hannah?
Hannah. Oh wow. Um, Actually a great competitor. I mean, she was great in challenges, just and also someone same thing with Aubrey too. Like you just like talking to her. You like being around her. I mean, she was someone I wanted her and Josh were two people I wanted to play the game with off rip. That's why I said, Josh, let's do this thing. And it didn't work, didn't work out that way. But yeah, same with Aubrey.
Okay. James.
Oh, he could have. I'd say threat. He could have been a threat. I mean, I think he's an engineer.
Yeah.
We talked for a bit before the game, and he's a big guy, athletic, smart. He for sure could have been a threat.
Do you feel you got him out at the right time?
I think so. Yeah, I went for Hannah that round, but yeah,
Yeah.
him going out there was huge. Yeah.
Okay. All right. John.
Well, can't say enough good things about John. I'd say that was just boring but friendly. I mean, the dude could make friends with anybody. I mean, he could talk the wheels off a doorknob. I mean, he's a fantastic guy. I mean, who wouldn't want to work with him? So it's kind of boring, but I'd say friendly. Yeah.
Okay. Josh.
Josh. Oh, I'd say steadfast. He knew when he wanted, and he will not budge from it. He saw a target and went after it, and I respect him for that.
Okay. Josie.
Josie, I'd say chaotic but good. It was good for my game. I enjoyed her chaos.
Okay. Carrie.
Carrie, I'd say like robbed, underrated. Because again, I watching her back, the amount of time she went to tribal sucked. I mean, she got dealt the short straw so many times. So I'd say robbed. Yeah, but
Okay.
she went to the final three, so I don't know.
Yeah. Magingo.
Ooh, Gingo. She was my best pre-merge alliance. I'd say all around too. I mean, she was a beast in challenges. She was fantastic. She's athletic. Isn't she like, yeah, isn't she like bicycling around South America or something like
Yeah.
that? That's crazy. I mean, and also we bonded over being in Metro Detroit. So again, another person I like being around. So I'd say, what did I say for athletic? All around, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Sam. Boy Sam.
Sam. Ooh, he was my rock in challenges. He was a guy I could lean on. I'd say rock. Yeah, he was a guy that if I need to turn to, he was a dude, bro, that had me in challenges. So yeah, my rock. Yeah.
All right. Samantha.
Oh, she was very smart. There's a theme here. I would say thoughtful. I could really tell she thought out her moves, who she wanted to align with, her long-term plans. I really want to work with her in the merge. That was tough. I'd say thoughtful.
Okay. Tyler.
I mean Kingpin. I mean, there's no other way to put it. He ran the pre-merge, so that encapsulates him.
Okay. And then last but certainly not least, Zoe.
Zoe. I'd say threat again. I mean, she played a phenomenal game. I mean, if she's in the final four or final three, who knows what happens? I mean, she played a great physical game, strategic game, social game. Everybody loves Zoe. So I'd say threat, but also just a fantastic person. Like I know we weren't always in lockstep with each other, but through the entirety of the merge, I mean, I want to work with her. I want to bring her to the end with me until I lost that final challenge. But yeah, just an awesome person. Yeah.
Nice. All right. And that is everybody. That's everybody for our word association. Appreciate you doing that with me, Luke. So this is coming to a close for our podcast today. And that will be the final, nail in your Survivor season 6 season. So I guess before we do that, like anything you want to add, anything you want to leave the viewers with about your experience, and yeah, stage is yours.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would just say I just want to thank you for giving me the chance to come out here. Yeah, like you called me a week and a half beforehand to come out, and I was ecstatic to play. I mean, it was really fantastic, and to go from watch my brother do this, how many years ago that was, and to do it now, I mean, you jump started my love for Survivor, so I really thank you for that. It's been fantastic, and I mean, the group you had play this last season was awesome too. I mean, I met some phenomenal people, and I would not have done that if it wasn't because of you. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you for playing. Thank you for doing it last minute. I mean, if we knew you wanted to play, you wouldn't have been last minute cast. I can tell you that. But I do have a question for you. Probably should have kicked it off. So Mark started this journey for you, being involved in it. How's that relationship? Do you have one up on him, or is he proud, supportive older brother?
Oh yeah, no, it's all love. It's all love. Yeah, I mean, again. I think I mentioned in my confessional before the game. I thought he played phenomenally. I mean, he played some phenomenal games, and any one of those seasons, he could have won too. So yeah, no, it's all love. But if you have another season, and I'd love to play with him. That'd be fun too.
Mhm. Well, I mean, that would put your game in a little bit of a twist, Luke. You'd be the siblings that everybody would be going for. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
No jokes. I don't want to put anything out there. I asked Carrie too similarly, like, how would you play if we were to bring things back? I don't want to put anything out there so that people, if we get to that point, that people have some receipts on to use against you in there. So, but yeah, I mean, we don't know what the future holds for us right now. I'm gonna enjoy my little freedom that I've been under the bad blood. Season for about 3 years now, almost going on. So it's been a lot, but I'm glad that you were able to be a part of that journey with us. You've been on this ride with us since 2018 when we filmed. So being able to have you on officially and have your story conclude the way that it did is one of those things that is just really special for me to be able to kind of see, and something that, watching back is something that we'll always remember. So I appreciate you coming out, Luke, and doing it again, or doing the experience again on the other side of the camera. So, but yeah, I appreciate your time tonight, Luke. That will conclude tonight's podcast. For those tuning in, we have a podcast on Sunday with Eli, and then we have another one Tuesday, I believe, with Hannah. So, we're still trying to get Zoe on the calendar, and then Aubrey is pushed out to June 13th. So we'll keep our social media updated. So tune in when you can. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one with our new champion, Luke. Congratulations again, Luke. Hope you have a good night. And for everybody else tuning in, you guys can head back to camp. Good night.